minutes. You guys know how I do it. Today is Tuesday, April 21st. That can only mean one thing: on air with Russell of Hotels, that live hospitality talk show that everyone's talking about. Hey, hope you guys are doing well. Let me just make sure I am live like I'm supposed to be. Let me click over to IG or Instagram, making sure that I am live on these platforms. Let's see. Okay, so that one looks like it's going to be working. So this is the monologue part, right? So the show hasn't started. So if you need to go get your popcorn, go ahead and do that because I'm not, I'm testing some stuff right now. So I'm live on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. So let me just, yep, there we go over there. Yeah, this is show number 340, as you can see on the thing, the ticker going across, on air with Russell of Hotels. It's that live hospitality talk show that everyone's talking about. I do this every week, right? I've been doing this 340 shows I've done on air with Russell of Hotels. Now, that's not to mention the daily check-in that I do, but it has nothing to do with today, right? But I do things, just in case you didn't know, I do things about 5 days a week. So I do on air only on Tuesdays, right? Tuesdays at 1 o'clock PST. And then I do the daily check-in Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Okay, so you got 5 days a week of Russell of Hotels talking about what else? Hospitality, talking about hotels, talking about CVBs or DMOs or travel, group meetings, elevating your brand. Those are things that I talk about, and I talk about them as ad nausea. I mean, I'm always talking about it because I think it's important. I think a lot of times we miss the boat on some of these things, right? Especially when it comes to elevating your brand. And that's one thing that I think it seems like every week I'm discussing something that came up or whatever. But I don't know if today's going to be one of those days. But you know what? I'm mentioning it right now. So make sure if you're not elevating your brand, you reach out to someone who can assist you with elevating your brand. Because unless you're running 100% or your city or your destination is full all the time, a lot of times what we're missing, your product may be good, it may be great, everybody wants to go there, if once they remember to go there, right? But it has to do with the visibility factor. Do they see you enough? Are you posting enough? Are you telling your story enough? And a lot of times it leads to visibility, it leads back to visibility. The product may be good, great, whatever, we just recently renovated and no one knows about it. Well, hello. You know what? That's funny. I should mention that. Not funny, but yesterday yesterday was Monday, right? So I had Miss Tiffany on the daily check-in. Miss Tiffany English. She is my partner in crime or my guest host on Mondays on the daily check-in. So check it out at 9 o'clock in the morning on Mondays, and she'll be there and we'll be talking about different things. Well, anyway, she was talking about a trip she had just taken on Margaritaville Cruise Lines, Margaritaville at Sea. It's called something like that, right? Well, I never even heard that. I didn't even know Margaritaville had a cruise line. So I'm like, where are they posting this stuff at? Where are they advertising? Where are they promoting? How are they promoting? I never even seen it before. Not saying that I have to see every single thing in the world, but you would think that I've seen it, I've heard of it, right? I mean, I take cruises and I do these things. I do a lot of travel. I know a lot of people that do travel. No one had ever mentioned Margaritaville cruises. So Tiffany mentioned it. I'm like, well, we need to find out what are they doing to promote this cruise line. They want to get more group business. Well, what are they doing to get more group business? I don't know. So that's what I mean, elevation or elevating your brand, because we'll do a lot of things that we think people know about us and they don't, right? So make sure we are doing everything that we can. And sometimes we need help. We need assistance. We need to come on a show like a on air with Russell of Hotels or a daily check-in to talk about what you do, who you are, what you do, and how you can help. There you go. I mean, that's all I'm saying, right? So I see Global 7. Hey, Global 7, appreciate you coming on here. I see Running Duo. Running Duo, they're on Instagram. So I appreciate them coming on and making themselves noticed or making themselves known. So no, I appreciate you guys coming on and listening and watching this show. I do this on air with Russell of Hotels every Tuesday at 1 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, live on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Okay, so it's always going to be on those platforms unless one of those platforms goes down, and then I won't be doing it on there anymore. But this is the monologue section, and we're going to get started with the show in a minute. The topic for today is going to be a good one. In fact, I didn't even know about this topic. I just happened to be scrolling. You know how you look at industry news and things like that, and something popped up. I'm like, I didn't know that. I mean, but I see that some hotels are doing some of this stuff, and I'll let you in on what it is. But I didn't know it was like going in. Well, this is a California thing, right? So it's a California kind of thing that's going into, I don't want to say going into law, but it's a process. It has to do with planning meetings and things like that. So I'm gonna let you in on it in a couple minutes. So just hold tight, and we're gonna get to it. Okay, just hold tight. So what else is going on here before I get started? Oh, just real quick, and I'm gonna mention it now and mention it later at the end of the show. And this is for my family. Okay. The Love Family Reunion. If you have a show, you got a platform like this, you can talk about anything. Okay. So family reunion. It's called the Love Family Reunion. This is just a reminder for people that happen to listen to me on Instagram and Facebook that happen to be family members or members of the Love family. Um, Remember July 24th through 26th. That's coming up. Okay. So make sure you register, you sign up, you pay your money or whatever, and then you make your reservation at the Pacific Palms Hotel. Okay. So just make sure you go to our Facebook page. It's called Love. I want to say it's Love Family Reunion on Facebook. Uh, Love Family Reunion 2026. Okay. I believe that's the name of it. So just make sure if you don't subscribe to our channel, if you're not on our channel, you're not friends or whatever, friend us so we can, let you in and give you all the information that you need. Because there's a link and everything for the registration. There's a link for the to make your reservation at the hotel as well. So there's two separate things. Okay, you register for the reunion. That's one link, and then the hotel's a separate thing. So just because you register for the family reunion does not mean you're registered at the hotel for your room. Okay, so you have to do that in 2 nights. Okay, so there you go. I don't care where you live. I don't care if you live down the street from Industry Hills, the Pacific Palms. You need to stay at the hotel. So there you go. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay, so I'll talk a little bit more about that at the end of the show. I think I have a comment here. Aloha, Craig. You know what? Craig he's a diehard man. I appreciate Craig. I appreciate you coming on just to say aloha. I mean, I appreciate that. That just it gets me right here, Craig. Okay, it gets me right here. So I appreciate that. So and I see Global 7. Thank you so much. I appreciate the applause, and I just appreciate you tuning in. So there you go. Okay, so hold on one second. We're gonna get this party started. We about to get it started. So I'm gonna start with the intro, and then we're gonna come back and start the show. Once again, thank you so much for joining. This is On Air with Russell of Hotels, that live hospitality talk show that everyone's talking about. This is show number 340. Man, countdown to 400, right? Who would have thought I've done one show, let alone 340, right? So this is a milestone hotel, a milestone show because it's 340. Every 10 shows is a milestone. Okay, so anyway, I'm just talking now. So anyway, so hold on one second. We'll be back in about a minute and I don't know, 15 seconds. Good afternoon again. Thank you so much for joining On Air with Russell of Hotels, that live hospitality talk show everyone's talking about. The show number 340. Today is Tuesday, April 21st. This show comes on every Tuesday at 1 o'clock, okay, PST. So if you're in California on the West Coast is the best coast. It's at 1 o'clock. But if you're on the East Coast is all right. You know, we like the East Coast. It's at 4 o'clock, okay. And if you're like in NOLA, New Orleans, it's 2 hours from here, so that's like 3 hours. Okay, so you're like it's like 3 o'clock there. Okay, so it's 2 hour difference if you're Central Time, and that's like New Orleans. So there you go. So no, thank you guys so much. Mr. Global Seven said, "I'm here to gain some wisdom." Okay, all right, me too. I'm waiting for the wisdom. Where is it at? Who got the wisdom? So anyway, let's see. Where am I? What am I? So let me stop this, right? So you guys have seen that already. I don't need to keep showing that. Okay. Once again, I'm Russell L. Edmond, on air with Russell of Hotels. I go by the name of Russell of Hotels. Okay. So that's actually my company name, but of course I'm Russell and I'm of Hotels. You guys know the way I got the name, right? The name, the way that I when you start a business, right, you have to have a business name, right? And this is for the people in the back that don't know the story. Okay. So when I was kind of transitioning from working at a hotel on property to doing my own thing, I need to come up with a name, right? So like, what do I want my name to be? The company name. I said, well, I want my name in it because you have to have some, people have to recognize the name at least. And I said, well, Russell has to be in there, Russell or Edmund or something like that. And I said, well, what else? And I had to think. I was like, what do I know? Or what have I been about for like the last 25 years? And it was hotels. So I came up with the name Russell of Hotels, but I pitched it to someone, right? So I had this guy I used to work with, and he was like our graphic artist or whatever for our company. And I had asked him, I said, hey, I'm starting my company, blah, blah, blah. I had a couple names. I don't remember the other names, but I had three names, and one of them was Russell of Hotels. So I said, and I gave him, the three names on a piece of paper and said, here, he looked at them. He said, I like this Russell of Hotels. And I was like, why did you like that one? Why'd you pick that one? He said, because it sounds like hotel royalty. And I was like, when he said hotel royalty, I'm like, I'm so that's it. Throw the piece of paper away. I don't need anything else. And that's why I came up with the name Russell of Hotels, because he said, and that's like I said, someone else said that. I knew I was hotel royalty, but it was for someone else to say it. I like, okay, someone else had to buy off on it, right? So no, when he said that, I was like, that is it. That is it. So okay. I see Miss Cheryl Rogers. She says, please call following your broadcast. I need an emergency sourcing in Atlanta. Okay, I saw you calling a while ago, Cheryl, but you knew I was about to do something, right? We think I was going to take that call because it was you, but no, I'm joking. But yeah, I definitely, as soon as I get off, I will definitely give you a call. Because if Cheryl says it's emergency, damn it, it's an emergency, and I better, the first thing I need to do is call Miss Cheryl Rogers, and that's the first thing that I will do. So no, give me. In fact, I'll make this short, right? I'll make this brief, and then I'll give you a call. But no, no, I appreciate you, Cheryl. So I will do that. So okay, so moving forward, I'll never do one of these shows where I'm not showcasing a hotel or a destination. Okay, so today's hotel destination happens to be the Miraval. Anybody know about the Miraval, Arizona Resort? It's a small hotel, not a lot of meeting space, as you can see, 143 guest rooms of 1,710 square feet of meeting space. So very small. So if you have like, 10, 20, maybe, yeah, 50 people, I would say would be ideal for the meeting space. But yeah, so very nice. I mean, if you like sunny weather, things like that, Tucson, Arizona, and Tucson is not as hot as Phoenix, right? Because Tucson elevation is a little higher, but it gets hot. Don't get me wrong, and don't say it. I'm not saying that you won't be out there sweating, okay? But it's a different kind of heat, okay? It's like a mountainous kind of heat. But no, I love Miraval. Miraval, Arizona is in Tucson, Arizona, so that's about 2 hours from Phoenix, Arizona. But it has its own airport, just in case you did not know. But look up Miraval Arizona resort and tell me what you think. They have a spa. I mean, they just have it's a nice kind of I don't know. I feel it's kind of like Zen like when I go. I'm just like it's one of those places that you can just sit down and just be. You don't have to do anything. You can just sit down and just be, you know, read your book or whatever the heck you do, right? Do that. Go to the spa. Or just do nothing, right? I know a lot of people do girls trips here and guys get away and do their thing or whatever the heck that is. But yeah, so it's one of those places that you can just go and be. I did like was with a client when I checked out this hotel, and this was one of three. And I was hoping my client was going to choose this hotel, but guess what? She didn't choose it. Okay, but I was like, whenever I get a chance to talk about it, to bring a group there or bring another client there to take a look at it, I'm always going to do it because it was just one of those hotels that I just thought was cool. And all the hotel, I mean, once you stay there, when whatever rate you pay, it comes with I mean, I think it comes with everything, right? It's kind of like a cruise ship, okay? I don't know if this is a good analogy, but you know how you pay your fee for a cruise and everything is included? That's the same thing with Mirabal. So drinks, everything's included. Like you get the drink package. No, I don't think you have to get the package. They just will, it's part of your rate. Okay. So wherever whatever you pay, if it's $300, if it's $200, $500 a night, whatever you pay, the rate includes all the meals and snacks and all this. They have a juice bar, a smoothie bar, and all that. So, man, I must have had 10 smoothies. I never had 10 smoothies before anywhere at one time, but I did. I wanted to try all of them. I said, you know what? Just line me up. Just line me up with all those smoothies on the board right there. And that's what I did. No, I'm joking about that, but I will do that next time I'm there. So that's the entrance. These are guest rooms. It's not the room I stayed in, but this was kind of in the newer renovated section, I believe, when I was there. But very nice, very comfortable, and I just love the colors. And look at that. This is probably this time of year right now. I think it was was this time of year. You can just sit out there and just hang out, and you see all the Palo Verde trees right there, all the shrubbery. Oh my God, it was just amazing. I'm just like, this is the place I need to be. I need to bring a group here. Running water, Zen like. Did I say that a while ago? Zen like. Don't you like that? Zen like. Let me just make sure there's no comments over here. Let's see. It ain't a Halle Berry heat. It's more like a Michelle Pfeiffer kind of heat. You know what? I'm looking at comments from Instagram. Okay, so that's why I'm laughing. It only takes one. Okay, it only takes one. And we got one. We got a live one today. Let's see. Let's see. What is this one? Okay, this is okay. This is one of the newly renovated suites, and I didn't take a photo. No, I'm sorry. This is on the way to the spa. This is actually near the entrance to the spa. But the mountains right there. I mean, everything's so picturesque. The palm trees, the mountains in the background. I mean, it's just an amazing place, right? Just like I said, it's kind of magical. Is it kind of magical? I don't know. I wouldn't say that. But this is my guest room, right? So this is my room. You had your patio open up until you can see wildlife and all that kind of stuff. It was, and I love that kind of stuff, like going the hotels, and it's like the wildlife is around and they just put this hotel right in the middle of it, right? And I guess that's what they did. And I mean, you get the what are those things called? Javelina. You see javelina, you see like fox, coyotes, of course, road runners. I mean, all kind of different kind of animals just roaming around. Lizards. Yeah, there's lizards out there too. None in the room though, but yeah, I did see some outside. Rabbits, like jackrabbits, cottontail. I wish I had my gun with me. I would have shot a couple, but no, that's not. No, I don't do that anymore. Okay, I don't do that anymore. And then, like I said, the meals come with it. And this was breakfast. I think I ordered two of these. I said, "Can I have another one?" You know how you get a taste of something. And this is scrambled. Okay, people may think these are scrambled eggs. No, they are not. That's scrambled tofu. Okay, so yeah, they had the non-meat eats there. Okay, I don't show any food that's not non-meat eats. Okay, so just so you know that, because that's one of the first things I look for when I go to a resort or hotel or wherever, a restaurant, I'm looking for the non-meat eats. I'm looking for how creative can they be with not serving meat, right? And like I said, this was a tofu scramble. Of course, they had some, I think, cilantro and green onions on there as well, and salsa. And you see the tortillas. Oh my God, I was like in heaven. Okay, whew, whew, it was so good. So anyway, and it's so simple, right? That's the thing with some food like the non-meat eats that I have. It can be so simple, but so much flavor, and that's what I look for. That's what I look for. I'm a simple kind of guy, right? But this is what I eat. That's how I get down. Kind of I was just walking towards something with my I was in back of my client. I was taking photos as the client, my client and the hotel representative were in front of me. So I was taking photos as they were walking, and so yeah, I captured that. I'm like, oh, that's nice. Just the sound of that. I mean, it's something about the sound of running water. It's like a calming thing for me. I don't know what that is. It's kind of therapeutic, if you will. Does that make sense to anyone else out there? It's kind of therapeutic, but anyway. Okay, so real quick. Okay, so this is not these shows don't have to last that long. Sometime, it just depends on if people have comments. I mean, feel free to make your comments. It's all about engagement, and that's what I'm all about, right? So don't think I'm rushing to go through this agenda that I have because I'm not. So if you have questions, comments, anything like that, feel free to put them in the chat, and I will read them. If you're on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook, I can actually put those your comments on the screen so the whole world can see. But if you're on Instagram, I can't do that, but I can at least read them because Instagram is on a different thing. And I've mentioned that before, where I have to go back and forth and look at any comments that are on Instagram. But that's just how it's set up. You know, as long as I can stream Instagram, that's fine. Any mountain lion sightings? No, no mountain lions while I was there. But that's a good question. No mountain lions, but like I said, for like retreats, um, girls trips, guys trips, if you will. Got to include the guys. Um, yeah, wellness trips specifically, check out Miraval. And did you know, and this is for the people that have businesses or work for hotels or anything like that. Did you know that over 60% of the people that happen to see this, they happen to see like this, let me go back. Like see where it says Miraval, Arizona Resort. People that don't know this property, they will look that up. They will Google search Miraval, Arizona Resort and see, let me see what this Russell of Hotels is talking about. Is he right on when he's talking about this? That's why I do this. That's why I showcase hotels and destinations because everyone does not know these places exist. I didn't know, several years ago, I didn't know, maybe I knew about Miraval, I've heard about it, but I had never been there and experienced it. And just so you know, I will never show a hotel or a destination that I have never personally experienced myself, meaning I had to have been there. I'm the one that took the photos. I'm the one that took the videos. Okay. I don't want stock photos. And the reason why I don't want stock photos is because how many people, how many times have you looked at a website and say, oh, I want to go to that hotel? And you get to that hotel and that's not what it looks like. I mean, hello, hello. I do that. I mean, this is what I do, right? This is what I do this for a living, right? So I go to a lot of hotels and I always look at the websites before I go to said hotel and just to see if it's consistent. And sometimes I'm not going to say, oh, it's never consistent. Well, no, sometimes it is, but a lot of times it's not because those pictures or photos or videos were taken years ago when they just renovated their hotel. Okay. Well, now the hotel doesn't look like that anymore. Or maybe sometimes they showed some older photos and it's since been renovated. So that's why it's important that we make sure that we every year that we go through our website, making sure we have up to date photos. We go through all the sites, and if you're on third parties, OTAs like Expedia and all those, I mean, it's to your benefit to make sure you update those photos as well. Expedia and hotels.com, they're not going to call you and say, hey, we noticed that you did a renovation and you need to update your photos. They're not going to do that. That's not their job. That's your job to do it. So make sure, like with your bureau, like your CVB or your tourism board or whatever, make sure they have up-to-date photos when they're going out and talking about, the hotels in that destination. Make sure those photos are up to date. Okay. Don't just wing it and just pray to God that they are. No, that's our job as directors of sales, or as general managers, or as sales managers, to point those things out. We don't just go because that's the status quo. No, we don't do that. Let's just make sure that I mean, it's all about visibility, right? But you want the right visibility to be shown as well, right? And I always talk about visibility as an important thing, but you want to make sure that the photos that we're showing, your hotel actually looks like that. Okay. That's what I mean. Let's see. I do wildlife, but I don't do too wild-like. I don't get that one. Okay. All right. Thank you though. I don't get that one. But anyway, the topic for today is three things meeting planners should prepare for. Now, I didn't know this one, right? So I'm gonna share this with you real quick. Before California's new food labeling law takes effect July 1st, 2026. Now, I didn't know this, and I think the reason why I don't know, because I don't plan a lot of meetings in California, right? So I didn't know that this was a thing, right? So I happened to be scrolling a couple of days ago, and I'm like, what is this? What the heck is that? So, okay, so today I'm gonna talk directly to the meeting planners, the meeting professionals, right? There's a new change. A lot of people may know this already. Okay, I did not know, but I guarantee you, if I didn't know, there's a couple people out here that don't know either. Okay, they may have noticed some things, but they didn't know it was going into effect. Like these are things that we need to make sure this happens. Okay, so these are things that are taking place in California. Now, I've noticed these same things have been happening in other states, right? Because I do a lot of things outside of California, right? I've noticed, food has been labeled and things like that. And I thought it was just for me because, I don't eat meat, I don't eat dairy, I don't eat, some of those things, right? I'm not allergic to anything. I just choose not to eat it, right? But because of all the allergies people may have, peanut allergies and all these kind of things, gluten free, all those kind of things. California, I guess, is taking the lead on this and saying, "Hey, we need to make sure that that's what California does, right? We need to make sure that people know this ahead of time because just think about it. If you're planning an event, and a lot of people are coming. Everyone is not the same, right? Everyone is not the same. Everyone does not have the same dietary habits, or some people have dietary restrictions. Some people are lactose intolerant. Some people are allergic to nuts and peanuts, tree nuts, and all this kind of stuff. You know, there's a lot of things going on out there. So it's good to have things labeled moving forward. Okay, so those are the things that I'm going to talk about right now, just for a couple minutes. So I see Don Anthony. Hey, Don Anthony, what's going on? So what I said, I can make you put your comments on the screen. Boom. So okay, so Craig Sullivan said, "Aloha, Russell." So let's make sure that I got to make sure I put their names up there. I mean, make sure I put their comments up there. So hello, aloha again, Craig. And then I see Mr. Don Anthony. What's up, Russ? Hey, not much, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate you chiming in here, man. So yeah, so that's what when I say put your comments, the comments are open. Make sure you make your comments, your chat, and I'll make sure I put them on the screen. Okay, so because that's what this is all about. It's all about engagement. It's just not just all about me talking. Although, yeah, I mean, I like that too. But no, if you have comments you want to make, please make the comments. I'll make sure I read them or I'll put them on the screen. Okay. So there you go. Once again, three things meeting planners should prepare for before California's new food labeling law takes effect July 1st, 2026. Let's see. In California, there's a new change taking place in California that could impact your next meeting or event, and that is the new food labeling requirements for banquet and event menus. Beginning July 1st, 2026, hotels, convention centers, and venues in California with 20 or more locations nationally will be required to identify the major allergens on banquet menus. Buffet signs, printed materials, or even QR code menus. You know, the QR codes where you can do with your phone. But planners should not assume the hotels will take care of everything. We like to think that, oh, the hotel, they got it right. Well, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. 50-50, flip a coin. The best events happen when the hotel and the planner work together. Here are three things meeting planners should prepare for. Hmm. Okay. What are those three things, Russell? Because this is all new to me. Number one, collect allergy info earlier than before. So if you were collecting this before, like maybe you're doing it right a week before, yeah, I don't. Is that enough time? A week? No. Make sure you get this stuff, well in advance. If you are planning a meeting or event, now is the time to ask attendees about food allergies and dietary restrictions during registration, not the week of the event, earlier. The earlier you gather the information, the more time the hotel has to prepare. So, what I love about I do a lot of travel, right? I do a lot of meetings. North Star, they do a great job of sending things out ahead of time, right? When you're doing your registration, and that can be several months in advance of the actual event, they're asking, what are your dietary restrictions? So if you have a nut allergy or whatever, you're vegan or plant based or gluten free, that's the time to say that. And they'll make sure they, let the hotel know that. And a lot of times the person in charge of the event will come up to me and or anyone else that has special dietary needs. They'll come up to you personally and say, hey, if there's something on the buffet that doesn't meet with your satisfaction, because everything's labeled, right? We have a special vegan meal for you in the back. Just let the banquet captain know, and we'll make sure we bring it out. And one time, okay, I'm gonna tell you what this is how I do sometimes. Um, there's normally something on the buffet for me to eat, right? I mean, a salad, something. And like I said, everything is labeled as non-dairy or whatever the case may be. Well, I ate everything on there, but I wanted to know what was that special vegan menu, the vegan meal. What did it look like? I wanted to see the presentation. I asked for that thing. Man, they came out like this. It was covered, had the lid on it. They come out here just and everybody, and it gets everyone's attention, like, oh my God, what did you order? And they just swirl around and just put it on the table and open it. Man, and I'm just thinking of the last time. I can't remember the hotel, but it was something that was well thought of, okay? Because a lot of times in the past, I've gone to certain events and asked for things, and it comes out, and you can tell it's something they just threw together. There was no thought in back of it. There's no creativity, just some vegetables just thrown it, and they think they can just throw some sauce on it. Like, I'm like, what the heck? No, this is not it, right? But the presentation, how they brought it out with such flair. It wasn't like it was just, bring out with two hands. No, he brought it out like this, like that, and just presented it and opened it and voila, kind of thing. I'm like, this is what I'm talking about, right? So everything is in the presentation, right? But I guarantee you, everybody that was sitting at my table, they were like, "Oh my God, what did you get? Why didn't I get that?" They're going back and forth on me, like, "How'd you get that? What makes you so special?" Kind of thing. I said, "Oh, this is the vegan option." "Oh my God, you're vegan?" Then that starts another conversation, right? So if you didn't know those people before, you knew them after, right? Because now they're asking questions about, why are you vegan and all this kind of stuff. That's the way for people to know you as well, right? Get to know people. Oh my God. So you know what? I just live it up now, right? So, but anyway, what I was saying is I ask, because I want to see how they present things, right? Not that I'm getting this special meal, and I appreciate it. I definitely appreciate it, but I like to see the creativity in the back of the house, meaning the kitchen, meaning the cooks, meaning the chef, the whole food and beverage operation, because that makes a big difference if I want to bring something to that hotel, if I'm going to suggest that hotel to my client, right? Because the more creative they are, that means they can do a lot of things. They can be creative with a lot of things. But if they're just throwing some vegetables on a plate and just serving it to you, throwing a little sauce on top of it, that's not creative. And more than likely, I'm not going to refer that piece of business or that hotel to a client of mine. So let's just make sure we're doing what we can, to add a little oomph to it. If that even makes sense. It probably doesn't, but I just thought I'd throw that in there anyway. So let's see, where was I? If you're planning an event, now's the time to ask attendees about food allergies and dietary restrictions during registration, not the week of. I think I mentioned that. The earlier you gather the information, the more the hotel has time to prepare. That includes not only the major allergens such as nuts, dairy, shellfish, soy, wheat, and sesame, but other concerns such as gluten free, vegan, vegetarian, or specific sensitivities. Because just remember, vegan and vegetarian are totally different things, right? Vegan meaning they don't eat any dairy, no meat, not even fish. Okay, that would be a pescatarian if you ate fish only, right? So vegetarian, the difference between vegan and vegetarian, they still eat bread and they still eat eggs. A lot of bread has eggs and milk and all that stuff, right? So the big difference, they don't eat meat, they don't eat eggs, they don't even eat fish. Okay. So I mean, almond milk or coconut milk, that's different. That's okay. That's non-dairy. Anything that comes from a cow or a goat, "Oh, we got goat cheese." Okay, well, that's still not vegan, okay? It's an animal. All right. So just those are just I just want to clarify that. As someone who is always looking for good non-meat eats, I know how important it is for hotels to prepare and have options available. And like I said, most of the things I go to are great. They always do a great job. So there you go. Number two, review the banquet menu and signage before the event. Do not wait until you arrive on site to see how the menu will be labeled. Ask the hotel to show you what the banquet menu, buffet signs, and allergen information will look like ahead of time. Because you want to make sure it looks good and makes sense and everything is on there before, because you don't want to be there the day of. Then they like, well, we have to reprint this or we have to redo this and we have to redo. Everything should be signed off, just like on your BEOs. You need to have copies of those things, banquet event orders. That's what a BEO stands for. So everything, all your menu items will be on that BEO. So if this is a thing that's coming up, we need to make sure we're reviewing the signage before as well, because those are those little labels that are next to the buffet line or whatever you're serving or whatever. Um, you know, um, Gluten free. This is vegan. This is vegetarian. Whatever it is, it needs to be labeled. Then that way, no one gets cross contamination and gets sick, and God forbid someone has a nut allergy attack or something like that, because that's another situation. That's another situation. Let's see, where else am I? Where am I? I think that was it for that one, right? Will be separate meals. Okay, hold on one second. Do not wait. Okay, I already said that. Will the buffet cards identify allergens? Ask that question. Will there be QR codes? Ask that question as well. Will there be separate meals for guests with special dietary needs? The more you review in advance, the fewer surprises there will be on the day of the event. Okay. Like I said, you don't want any surprises right in the middle of what's going on. When you're supposed to be kind of sitting back and observing everything. You don't want to have to, oh my God, I need to, where's the banquet captain? We need this, we need that. No, if you plan ahead of time, this won't be an issue. Okay. And this may be happening already. All right. It's just that this is something I came across and I said, well, if I just found out about this, I'm sure there's one or two people out there that didn't know this. Okay. So I always want to make sure I share what I can share. Let's see. I see a question. Does this only apply to venues with 20 locations or more? Yes. And this is California. This is in California. What I'm talking about right now is for California. Now, I don't know if the rest of the states are going to have this at all, but I have noticed that um, any place I go as of late, but I think it depends on the events that I'm attending. They will have labels like this, similar labels that I'm talking about. And this can be in Tennessee. I've seen it in Tennessee. I've seen it in Florida. Um, but these organizations that I attend their meetings, they make it a point to ask ahead of time, what are your dietary restrictions? So anyone that's planning meetings, if they're the meeting planner, they need to make sure they're asking those questions. Okay. Because I can see, regardless of where it is, there's people with dietary restrictions and different allergies everywhere, worldwide, right? But let's just focus here on the US, right? But like I said, California takes the lead on a lot of things. And this is one of those things because veganism probably came from California, right? Because that's just how we are, right? That's just how people in California are. So, but a good question. Appreciate that. So, and let's see, am I on number three now? Number three. All right, did that. Ask about the process. I already did that, right? Did I do number three? Did I do number two? Review banquet sign. Yeah, I did. Ask the hotel about their process. Yeah, how are you going to do it during your site visit or pre-conference meeting? Ask the hotel, what is your process for handling food allergies and labeling banquet menus? What is the process? What happens if someone has an allergy to something that they ate? What are you going to do? What's the procedure? Know that. Although, okay, now there's some responsibility that goes to the person that's eating, right? Because I have a son that he's allergic to nuts, right? So, dude, you got to take your EpiPen with you. Okay, you can't think that these hotels or restaurants are going to have 100% responsibility for you if you happen to have a nut allergy and you didn't ask the question. Okay, you always have to ask the question. We always tell him, ask the question. I mean, we see what's on the menu, right? But how's it prepared? What are they using back there? Are they using peanut oil to fry that fish? Whatever the heck it is, right? You have to ask the question. So there's a certain responsibility that the attendee has to have as well. And I always make sure I said, hey, did you take your EpiPen with you? Because yeah, I'm not the one that, I'm not the one that's gonna, start feeling it right here. Okay. He is. So I'm like, dude, take that EpiPen wherever you go. Make sure you have two or three of them. You got one at home, one in your pocket, one in your backpack when you go to school or whatever. So, like I said, there has to be some type of responsibility that the people that are, that the potential, I don't say victim, but someone that that has the issue, they need to make sure that they have the adequate um, medicine or whatever, just in case something does happen. Okay, because things do happen. I mean, they don't do it on purpose, but things can happen. But we all have to be on board. So the planner need to find out what the process is from the hotel, the banquet captain, and then we go from there. Okay, so there you go. So, who on the hotel team is responsible? How are banquet staff trained? What happens if an attendee has a severe allergy? Those are questions you can ask. Can the hotel provide alternate meals or separate preparation? Like, is everything cooked on the same stove? That kind of stuff. Or cooked in the same oil? The hotels that already have a clear process and can confidently answer those questions are the hotels that will create more trust and confidence. Mm. In closing, once again, beginning July 1st, 2026, this is going to be a part of the planning process for meetings and events in California. Meeting planners should not look at these new rules as just something else to worry about. Oh my God, I got something else to worry about. There's somebody out there that's saying it. Damn it. Just when I thought I got away from this, now I got something else to worry about. Instead, think of it as another opportunity to create a better, safer, and more thoughtful experience for your attendees. The planners who prepare early, ask the right questions, and work closely with the hotel will avoid problems and create stronger events. Yeah. So if you're ahead of the game, if you're doing everything you should be, then it's okay. It's going to be all right. Right. But if it's for the people that are last minute, that, oh, I forgot about this, they don't have a checklist, make sure you have all those things in order. Then that way nothing is slipped through the cracks. And then, like I said, meet with the hotel people and ask them what's their role in this. What are they going to do? And that way we work together because it's a partnership, right? It's not just that, well, that was them. Shame on them. They did it. No, it's a partnership and we should work together. Okay. So there you go. Because at the end of the day, people may not remember every detail of the menu, but they will always remember how well you took care of them. Okay. That's the key right there. Did we agree on everything? No, we didn't. But how did they make you, how did they take care of you? Did they take care of you at the end of the day? Yeah, they did. It was kind of rocky at first, but you know what? At the end of the day, they took care of us and it was great. And we'll come back. And that's what a hotel wants to hear, that you will come back. Everything went well and they will come back. Let's see, what is this? Is there a state licensing process that you have to go through in order to get certified as a planner? No, there is not. Anyone can be a planner. You can be a planner if you want to. So no, there's not a state license to be a certified planner. Well, to be a certified meeting professional, that's something that you have to be tested for. It's an exam process. So it's kind of like, every for our industry, a CMP, certified meeting professional, meaning they've gone through, a rigorous, study program, and they've taken, an exam and they passed it. I don't know if it's 70, 80%. They passed it, but there's a lot of things. And there's food and beverage in there. There's rooms, there's banquet, there's distance between, tables and chairs, and, the circumference of a table, the length of a table. I mean, there's a lot of things that are in there. Um, then I can't see how the state will tell you. This has nothing to do with a meeting professional. Okay, it has nothing to do with a meeting professional. It has to do with labeling things because people have gotten sick. So even if you're just there at a restaurant, right? They have to have things in the restaurant that say, okay, this is cooked in peanut oil, all those that kind of things, right? So regardless if you're at a meeting or not, there's still going to be certain things that hotels or certain restaurants have to have in place because you want to make sure you take into account the safety of everyone. They're eating, like I said, my son, he's allergic to peanuts. Okay, so those things need to be on a menu. I mean, that's all I'm saying. Those things need to be outlined on a menu. Like, hey, the fried fish is cooked with peanut oil. Okay, well, damn it, I can't eat that because I'm allergic to peanuts. And label things. Okay, this bread is not gluten free. It has gluten in it. Or these items are, V means vegetarian, VEG means vegan. Okay, so those are things, and I don't have to ask the waiter because it's saying it right here on the menu that that's the contract, right? That's their contract that they have this stuff written down there. So in a meeting, you got a whole bunch of people coming to a meeting, right? And it's the responsibility of that person to make sure they understand the people that are coming in. So how does that meeting planner um how are they made aware of that? Well, they send out a questionnaire. Okay, you're registering for this. Make sure you give us any, do you happen to have any allergies or any dietary restrictions? That's just an extra question that you ask. Every time I travel, that, like I said, it doesn't matter where I am here in the United States. I go to certain meetings and they will ask that question. Okay, so there you go. So hopefully that answered that question. I understand this applies to hotels and restaurants. Yeah, or any like a banquet, like convention centers as well. Convention centers, they serve food as well. So anything where, a lot of people gather and a lot of meetings happen, this will take place. But like I said, this is only in California that I'm talking about. I don't know any rules or regulations outside of California. This is something in California. And California, this is what we do. This is how we do. We make things difficult, but no, not difficult, but different. Different. Okay, so that is that for that. That is that. Let's see. Okay, so I got a couple more things. Who's hiring? Okay, so now we got through out of that. We got past that. I got people looking for jobs, right? People looking for jobs. I got a couple people that have reached out to me and say, "Hey, do you know any sales positions that are hiring, or any hotels that are hiring sales positions?" I'm like, you know what? I always have something, right? I said, listen to the show, watch the show, and I'm gonna talk about it. Okay. So, okay, real quick, I have a couple here, and these are in the greater Los Angeles area. So if you're in New York or you're in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, no, I don't have anything for you. Okay. I'm in Los Angeles, so these are in the greater Los Angeles area. I don't know why I came from Cedar Rapids. Cedar Rapids, okay. Who doesn't love Cedar Rapids? Who's been to Cedar Rapids before? Okay. Who knows Julie? Okay. Who knows Julie in Cedar Rapids? So anyway, if anyone knows Julie, just make sure I gave her a shout out. Okay. Okay. It's from Cedar Rapids. So there you go. And I'm waiting for my invitation. I'm waiting for my invitation to come to a fam trip in Cedar Rapids. Okay. So anyway, she will get a kick out of that. Okay. So who's hiring? Four Seasons in Beverly Hills. They're looking for a commercial director. Now, I didn't know what a commercial director was, or I don't still don't know what it is, but regardless of what the title says, they're responsible for sales, catering, conference planning, public relations, and revenue management. Okay, so now this is at the Four Seasons in Beverly Hills. Now, I don't know if this that commercial director applies anywhere else, but for the Four Seasons in Beverly Hills, a commercial director, they're responsible for the sales, catering, conference planning, public relations, and revenue management at that hotel, right? So they're an EC member and all that. So it comes with a hefty salary. I saw that, right? So hefty salary means what? A lot of responsibility, hefty responsibilities. But who wouldn't want to work at the Four Seasons in Beverly Hills? Okay. So yeah, so if you know anyone that's interested and has those qualifications, they're familiar with I would think a director of sales and marketing, someone that has some operations background as well would be perfect for this particular position. So if you know anyone, if you're interested, these are on Indeed.com. So look up the Four Seasons Beverly Hills for commercial director and go ahead and apply for it. And tell them Russell Hotel sent you. Hilton Garden Inn in Burbank, they're looking for a director of sales. The Queen Mary, that ship in Long Beach, they're looking for a sales coordinator. Hilton Grand Vacations, they're looking for a vacation sales ambassador, and that's in Anaheim. So the Hilton Grand Vacations in Anaheim, they're looking for a vacation sales ambassador. Hyatt Centric Delfina in Santa Monica, they're looking for a sales coordinator as well, and they're also looking for a revenue manager. Okay. And then the Viceroy in Santa Monica, they're looking for a dorm. Now, what is a dorm? Anyone know what a dorm? Anyone knows what a dorm is? Director of Revenue Management. That's what a dorm is. Okay. So, we're big on acronyms. I always say this: hospitality people, hotels, CVBs, whatever, we're big on acronyms. And dorm, DORM, stands for Director of Revenue Management. So, boom, there you go. So, let's see, what time? Damn, it's funny. I'm thinking that I'm early and I only got 7 minutes left, right? See, that's what I'm talking about. You get caught up in this thing and you're talking about this, you're showing destinations, you're showing hotels, you're talking about, new rules and things that go into effect in California in July 1st, 2026. And next thing you know, boom, the show's almost over. So no, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Once again, I do this to this show every Tuesday, but I'm doing something every single day, 5 days a week. I'm doing something. I'm talking about elevating your brand, or I'm talking about a hotel or a destination or whatever, or a topic that comes up that has to do with hospitality. That's what I do, right? That's what I'm here to do. There's books right here that these are hospitality related books, right? So this one right here, where's my finger? This one right here, Sarah Dandashi, okay? Victor Simmons, okay? Bruce Jordan. Those are their books. These are strategically placed. Did you guys know? Did you notice those books? I don't know if you did. That's why I sit where I am. So I have to be right here. I kind of center myself, right? And I put these books on either side, right? Yeah, there's a family picture, stuff right here. But no, the real focus is on these three books. See, a lot of people don't even get that, right? But those are actually books. This one just came out. Victor Simmons just came out maybe a month ago. He's doing a book tour, a book signing tour, and he's doing a TED Talk in San Diego, right? Victor's in Orlando, right? But he's doing a TED Talk in San Diego. So that's the whole process. You got to you have to apply, you got to accept it. They fly him out there. They do all kind of stuff. So more to come. I want to say his TED Talk is going to be May 23rd of this year. So that's next month, right? So Victor is getting ready for that. And Victor and I went to school together. So he's a good friend of Bruce Jordan, a good friend as well. In fact, he's my when I do these have these conversations or interviews when I'm on site. He's my producer and director, right? He has all the, I mean, all the camera equipment, the sound, everything. I mean, this guy is a walking studio. So when I have something going on, I contact Bruce Jordan, but he's also an expert, hotel expert on revenue management. Okay. So if your hotel's having issues with revenue management, with rates and things like that, I'm sorry, Bruce Jordan is the guy to call. I keep, it's funny that I can't, and then Sarah Dandashy, the hospitality from within. I mean, who doesn't know Sarah? Okay, everybody knows Sarah. Sarah's worldwide. She's global. Okay, so and they're all dear friends of mine. So of course I'm going to put their stuff up because I admire them. I respect them as hospitality professionals. And there you go. So anytime someone has something, I'm going to put it out there. So once again, people, 60% of the people, now that I mention that, 60% of the people that will watch this show, they're going to look up at least one of these things. They may look up all three. They may look up the proven, the Presence Driven Leader by Victor Simmons, or Hospitality from Within by Sarah Dandashy, or the Hotel Revenue Bible by Bruce Jordan, the MJ of hotels. Someone's going to look that up. So why am I saying that? Because visibility is important. Visibility for your brand is important. Okay. So the more that people are talking about your brand, the better off you'll be. The more they see it, the better off you'll be. Just like billboards on the side of the road, right? You drive by billboards. I can't remember what the frequency was, but it took like someone had to drive by like, I don't know, 8 times before it starts to resonate. And I think on the ninth time is when they'll start looking it up. Like so say if it was a Nike ad on the side of the freeway and you drive by it every single day and you really never notice it, but you'll notice it like 8 times, right? And then it takes like at least 8 times for you to like, you know what? When I go home, I'm gonna look up this new shoe that Nike's coming out with. It takes that long. Well, now that you're on, we have things on, Facebook and all these different platforms. I think it takes longer for the stuff to resonate. But like I said, 60% of people, when I'm showing things like, and I mentioned this earlier, like Mirabal, Arizona Resort, 60% of people will look up that hotel. They will Google search Mirabal, Arizona Resort. So why am I saying that? Because it's important that people invest in shows like this, meaning they want their brand to be recognized and noticed. I mentioned when I first started the show, Margaritaville at Sea, which is a cruise line that Margaritaville has. Margaritaville, the hotels, the resorts. I didn't know they had a cruise line, right? I just had, Miss Tiffany, who co-hosts this show on Mondays, and I mentioned this earlier. She went on a cruise with them last week, right? And I said, I had no idea they even had a cruise. What are they doing to promote? And she goes, I don't know what they're doing. I just happened to get something in an email. I didn't know either. So she was just as surprised as I was, right? So, and I'm sure some people out there are surprised as well. So they maybe even look up, well, let me look this up. I like cruises. I'm going to look up, Margaritaville cruises, maybe just to make sure Russell's telling the truth, right? So that's why it's important to do shows like this and to showcase them. So the hotel I'm showcasing today and maybe tomorrow as well, Miraval, Arizona Resort. So look it up. If you're ever in Tucson, Arizona, you need a place to go and hang out and just be, boom, girls trip, incentive trips, small groups I would say up to 50 people or so. I would check it out. I would check it out because this is what I do. Okay, so real quick, just one more thing, and then I'm gonna be out of here. And this has to do with the Love Family Reunion, where I started earlier. And this is for my people on Facebook for the most part, because I have a lot of family that are on Facebook. So make sure you register for the Love Family Reunion 2026, July 24th through the 26th. That's this year. It's at Pacific Palms Resort in the city of Industry, which is not too far from Los Angeles. So let's just take downtown. Um, it's about, I would say, I'm gonna say 30 to 40 minutes. It's a 30 to 40-minute drive from downtown. Not a bad drive at all. I'm gonna be staying there as well. So from me, it's about 40 minutes or so. I'm gonna be staying there 2 nights as well. So make sure you stay there. The duration. Go to our Facebook page, which is Love Family Reunion 2026. And if you're not friends with us, make sure you friend us. We'll friend you. Just you know what you got to do, click friend or whatever, join or whatever the heck it says. Make sure you join that, and you have access to all the information. Just basically click this and just pay that, and there you go. So there's a registration for the family reunion, and there's a registration for the hotel room. Okay, so two different things, right? Just because you register for the family reunion does not mean you have a hotel room. And just because you have a hotel room, that does not mean you register for the family reunion. So, any questions at all, feel free to reach out to me. Go to russellofhotels.com. My phone number is there. My email is there. Or you can go any platform that you happen to be on. You can send me a message as well that way. So, anyway, that is it. Now I'm out of time. I'm out of time. But anyway, thank you guys so much. I appreciate you joining me for this show number. What show was this? 340, I believe. Yeah, this show number 340 of On Air with Russell of Hotels. Boom, there you go. So thank you again. You guys have a great day. Happy Tuesday. And remember, tomorrow I'll be back because I do a daily check-in. So you guys have a great day. And as always, peace.